Hey, it's Kristen, and welcome to a brand new live stream talking about Season 3, Episode 5 of Charmed. This was a wild episode. Feel free to leave any comments, questions, thoughts in the comments below. And a few quick updates. Starting this Thursday, we're going to get back into new episodes of my video podcast, Pop Culture Planet. We're getting into Season 2. The podcast is all about inclusion and representation in Hollywood, so I hope you guys will check it out. We bring in a lot of fun special guests, everything from fellow creators to some celebrity guests. The last season we had on Madison Reyes from Julie and the Phantoms, Yvette Monreal from Stargirl, so many fun people just to chat and talk more about their experiences as people of color or women in the industry. And if you want to support the show, I'm selling shirts, sweaters, and stickers with Pop Culture Planet's logo on them. You can check that out at teespring.com/stores/kmaldo, or even just check out the shop tab on my YouTube channel. Now, let's get into this week's episode of Charmed. Feel free to consider subscribing if you like my videos, and of course, leave a comment down below with your thoughts. So, guys, I loved this episode of Charmed so much. This is what I've been waiting for, okay? You know, we start off this episode meeting a girl named Julie at the gas station with her boyfriend, and when he gets out of the car to run an errand, a mysterious man comes up to her, basically like mind controls her, and makes her run over her boyfriend with the car. That's so dark. I was like, wait, is this Charmed? But it was so wild, but I was like, I was into it, you know? And then this whole episode is really focused on the Charmed ones helping this girl and figuring out what this new evil is. And I was just so happy to see this because, you know, I feel like there's been times, especially recently, where they've just like introduced some really intriguing storylines, but they're like these small C plots that literally have no purpose in the story. You guys know what I'm talking about with that witch that was trapped in the painting by the ogre. Like, that's such an awesome story. And then that was literally like this much of an episode. Like, it was not even important. And so I loved that this was the focus, you know, that we're basically, you know, expanding this universe. We're helping an innocent. We're diving into this magical storyline. We're meeting a new ancient evil. And this really brought me back to the magic of the OG series. You know, we get this new Demon of the Week format. We get to help an innocent. And I just really hope that that's where we continue going because I loved it. And I think we also really got to see the sisters working together to solve this case, you know, like for once, you know, like they were really all working together. And I'm like, if this is the direction we're going in, like I might love Season 3. So going back to this mythological creature that we're introduced to, it's this demon named Oman, and he sort of like predates civilization. He's connected back to that rune, and he gets his life force off of the forced devotion of others. And I was like, this just felt like an OG episode, you know, like I felt like we were going back. As Junta says here, they even use the Greek mythology. Yes, I loved that. They connected back to the real-life Greek mythology of Narcissus? I think that's how you say it. Basically, the origins of narcissism. And it was just such a cool story. Like, it made me feel like those OG feelings of, you know, we're going into this, you know, really cool story. You know, they did a really great job interweaving each sister's personal story into this, you know, and into the magical situation that they're dealing with. As Taylor says here, I love the Demon of the Week format combined with the overall story of finding the cure for the allergy. Yes, exactly. And as GL says here, we were saving innocents. We were. And, you know, I loved that so much about this. I think it really worked. And like I said, they really did a good job of interweaving each sister's personal story into this as well. So, for instance, Maggie has been struggling throughout the episode to pick a focus for her psychology research project. And this new magical dilemma helps her kind of like figure out her path, you know, exploring movement therapy and how that can help adults dealing with trauma. So I loved that they like made those connections, you know. I also really liked that in this episode we got to see Maggie get into some dance, and I hope that they continue that. And maybe this could even be a way for her to deal with her own anxieties and stress. I think Sarah Jeffries is such a great dancer, so to see them incorporating some of her own personal skills into this, I think it just makes the character feel more real. Because that's something that Sarah, as a person, is already interested in, and it just makes Maggie have like a little bit more dimension to her. I will say though, while I did think the dance was really cool, I will admit I thought the scene with Maggie and Julie connecting over music in her catatonic state was kind of creepy. It was kind of awkward. That was one of the moments I was like, I don't know if this really works. I'm not so sure about this. Taryn says, yes, Maggie dancing. Yeah, I mean, she had such great moves. But yeah, I think when we actually got to like that moment with her connecting with Julie, it was a little awkward. And as Noel says here, or Noel, I think, I loved how Charmed is teaching us about the sisters bond and the love, as well as helping some of those people who are going through personal situations. Yeah, definitely. And yes, the dancing was creepy, but it was cool. Taylor, when Julie started spinning stuff, I was like, okay. Yeah, I was kind of feeling the same thing. I was like, okay, I'm glad we're like bringing the things together. Obviously Maggie's into dance and she's doing, but I thought it was a little, it was a little awkward. The dance with Julie. Yeah. But anyway, going back to, so all of that kind of connected back to Maggie's studies at school, right? So speaking of the university, we also get a chance to see Mel speaking out about the class that she's teaching. She wants to teach this Maya Guzman book, and she kind of gets around it, not being on the syllabus, by teaching it for extra credit. And we see it makes a really big impact on the students, which I thought was really cool. But then the dean kind of reaches out to her and is like, Mel, actually, you should teach this ancient book that I wrote about the transgender experience. And it's like really outdated and it's problematic. And I really liked getting a chance to see Mel stand up and push for a book from an own voices author about their real life experience, and not just go with, whatever the dean said because, maybe she's a little bit nervous about losing her job or something. I think that really brought us back to the Mel that we know, especially from season 1, who, liked to question authority and is not going to just like do whatever you say. Like, she's going to do what makes sense and what she thinks is the right thing. So, and I thought this was a really great moment of just like really getting to see the girls start to speak up for what they believe in and rediscover their own voices. And I thought that was really empowering to see. I think that's something that they've kind of teased is going to be a big focus of this season. Just like the fact that they have all this power in the magical world, but they don't have that power necessarily in their everyday lives, and kind of figuring out that balance and finding their voices. Oh, interesting comment from Shills, who says, the dean creeps me out. I think something is up with her. And Taylor's saying, I have a feeling the dean is going to be a problem. There is something a little bit kind of creepy about her, right? Yeah, I definitely kind of see what you mean. We've only seen her so far in these like short meetings with Mel, but she's always a little bit like, is she testing Mel in some way? So maybe there's something up with her. Maybe we should keep an eye on her. Maybe she is a little bit suspicious. So let's get into Macy's storyline in this episode. I think in the last episode, I was kind of saying, I thought it was really cool that we're seeing the girls get back to their passions, right? Mel is teaching, Maggie is in school, and Macy, I was kind of like, what's she doing? She's really just focused on Harry and kind of finding this cure for this allergy because she wants to be with Harry. But in this episode, I think that they added some more dimension there. They gave her, she inherited safe space from Julian, and now she kind of has to focus on running a business and finding a cure for this allergy. And I think at the very beginning of this episode, she seems really uninterested in safe space. And honestly, I thought she was a little bit rude about it, especially to Swan. But I think over the course of this episode, she really learns about the impact that it can have. And I really love seeing Swan speak up for what safe space means to her. And I hope that we get to see even more of her now that it looks like she might be like Macy's right hand, working in this, you know, in this building. So I hope to see more Swan. I don't know if anyone else feels the same way. Let me go to some comments. Kristen, I love seeing Swan again. Me too. I hope that we get to see her do more in this episode, or more in this season, you know, especially since she and Macy will be working together. Shill says maybe Macy will make a part of Safe Space a lab. That would be really cool. Dr. Macy, businesswoman. Yes. Yes. Dr. Macy, businesswoman. Do you think Macy is going to keep Safe Space long? I mean, I think that they kind of need Safe Space. It's a good thing that they do have access to it because that's where the command center is. So, like, it'd be really complicated if they didn't have it, you know, to get in there all the time. I was thinking maybe she was going to pass on the, you know, leadership to Swan. Like, maybe she'll be like, yeah, I own Safe Space in name, but, like, Swan's going to run everything. You know, give Swan a nice promotion or something. That would be cool. Maybe we'll see that down the line. Really quick, Gemini Twin says demon vibes from the Dean. Maybe that could definitely be a thing. So let's get into Duran turn Safe Space into a nightclub. Too funny. Blue Wolf says yes, more Swan. I would love to see more of that. Yeah, Swan is great. I wish she was in the know. Maybe she will. Maybe like her and Jordan will be like the two that help them. Oh, Gemini says, I think the theory Swan is a witch was debunked when she was able to get close to Macy. That's true. She might not be a witch, but maybe she, you know, maybe she'll like help out in some way. Maybe she'll become a confidant or something like that. Yeah, so let's go back a little bit to Oman, this, you know, mythological creature, this ancient evil. So things kind of falter a bit, I thought, at least, when it came time for the Charmed Ones to go up against him, right? You know, he takes over Macy momentarily. And really quick, I'll bring up this comment from Junta who says, I love that the love between sisters helped Macy break through the enchantment of the monster. I thought that was really cool too, but I just thought it was too quick. Like, they were just like, yeah, Macy, think of your name. And then she was like, okay, I'm free. And I was like, that was it. Okay. And then, so I just thought it was too quickly. And then Mel tells Macy to throw her a puddle. When she said, throw me the puddle, I was like, what? Throw me the puddle. What a line. So she throws this puddle with her telekinesis powers to Mel, and then they put the potion in it to stop Oman, and it's sort of like, you know, because he was able to like enchant other people, it was him enchanting himself, I guess. And then he just like touches the puddle and disappears without any fight. So I just thought it was really anticlimactic. I feel like not only was it anticlimactic, but it was kind of goofy too. You know, like, I just think that the episode started off so strong and I loved so many aspects of it. So I was a bit disappointed to see that they weren't able to do like a really good Vanquish. Like, I felt like they just didn't fully commit to it, you know? I was expecting a little bit more. I was just expecting more. But let's get into some other plot lines that come up. Oh, let's see. We got some comments about Oman. Maggie literally said, don't look at him. And then what did Macy do? Look at him. Yeah. The name thing was a letdown. Why did Macy even look at him in the first place? That is a good point. Shill says, I love that Mel basically transmuted the puddle into the mirror. But wasn't that like so quick? Like, as Darren says here, this Vanquish did not live up to the greatness of the episode. The episode was so good. We do need to see more Vanquishing potions, but the episode was so good. And then I was like, the two things that kind of like threw me off a little bit was like that strange dance moment with Julie. I was like, I don't know about this, but I was able to move past that. But then this Vanquish, it just didn't live up to the expectations, especially with an episode that I was really feeling this. I was like, they're doing such a great job here. Let's see. We got a couple of other comments. Geely, it was a bit of a letdown, but what else could they do if he wasn't in the book? You know, I think even just the way that he disappeared, he literally just touched the puddle and was like, I'm gone now. Like, he didn't even scream. There was no like, ah, you know, like he just disappeared. So I think they could have at least done a little bit more there, even if they were going to do the whole puddle. Toss me a puddle. Toss me that puddle over there. So ridiculous. Taylor says the episodes have been really good, but they really need to work on the vanquishes. That's the thing. I think last episode and this episode were really awesome, but I do think that they need to work on the vanquishes a little bit more. Just make them feel a little bit more epic. Because I don't think they're quite hitting the mark. Let's talk a little bit more about Harry and Jordan looking at the relics. Thank you for bringing that up, Durin. So this episode, we get to see Harry and Jordan working together a little bit more, getting that background on the ancient runes and the relics. And, you know, I felt like they didn't actually get that much information, but they did open up a bit to each other, which, you know, giving us a little bit more character development for the characters that weren't quite a big part of this episode. So, you know, Harry, in this one, we get to, you know, just see the stress that he's feeling a little bit about his age difference with Macy. And Jordan just kind of talking a little bit more about what it's like with him trying to blend into this fancy new law firm that he's working at. I don't know if Jordan's advice to Harry, though, like really was helpful. He was basically saying like, oh, you have an age difference now, but in a few years, like, you guys will be the same age, and then, you know, you won't age and she'll be really old and you'll be like taking care of her. I'm like, oh, isn't that not like the best news? You know, like the fact that Harry will kind of be alive forever and Macy won't. Like, she's going to age. She's one day going to pass on. And, you know, it just kind of was like, oh no, this feels like we're headed to doom with Hasty, you know? Taylor, I'm sorry. When Harry's back cracked, I died. I was like, oh my gosh, same, Harry. My back makes that same sound, just slight movement, you know? Jordan, hey, Harry, don't worry. Macy will get old and die, and you'll be young forever. Cheer up. Exactly, right? It's like, oh, shoot. But I feel like the age thing came out of nowhere. I agree. Yeah, it was kind of like a little bit random. But yeah, Jordan getting in Harry's head, or trying to get him out of his head about the age thing. Honestly, I feel like, though, what Jordan said, it would have made me think about it more. I would have been like, oh, shoot, yeah. This is not great. And Noel says, do you think that there are any similarities and differences from the original and the reboot? Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I think we know what the differences are, but I think there are a lot of similarities. Even in this episode, you know, just the vibe of this episode and Saving an Innocent, I felt like there was some connection there. There was also, I think, some actual sort of connections in terms of, let me see, I had some notes actually about it. Where did I put it? No, where are my notes? Hold on. Well, just in general, even in past episodes that they've done recently, you know, like the Painted World back in the original Charmed, they kind of did like a little reference to that. You know, there were some connections to that idea of a human getting access to the Charmed One's powers, like the Curtis Williamson episode back in the original, comparing that to Vivian, you know. So there's definitely been some connections. And I actually did, for the first season, I did a whole video on the connections. It was a lot. Season 2, there were several as well. I have not done a video on that yet, though. And then in this specific episode, there were a couple of, you know, maybe some similarities, like Macy breaking free of Omen's control through her sister's voices. And in the original show, there was like a moment where Prue was targeted by a dark lighter, and her sisters kind of like saved her through their, you know, connecting with her. Macy inheriting Safe Space, you know, and kind of becoming this new business owner. That's sort of could be similar in a way to Piper starting her own, you know, club, P3. You know, they're both like business women. And, you know, Macy moving that puddle, you know, is maybe kind of like Prue or Paige, who also had, telekinetic abilities to do things like that. So, there's definitely some similarities. Like Paige telekinetically moved a puddle, but it's just that line. Hey, throw me that puddle, toss me that puddle. I'm like, what? Let's see. We got a couple more comments coming in. Going back a little bit more to the Hasty conversation, maybe Macy will become immortal. I mean, you never know. She was a demon at one point. You never know what can happen. Shill says, I guess that's why in the OG they eventually made Leo a human. I don't know if they would do that with Harry, though. Honestly, Harry is always the one getting injured, and, they're always trying to save him. So I don't know if it matters that he's necessarily a whitelighter. Yes, he has the knowledge, but like he's always getting kidnapped or hurt or something. So maybe if he's human, it wouldn't make a big difference. Let's see. Okay. The whole puddle mirror thing was too quick. If it wasn't for the explanation later on, it felt like, I think that it was too quick, and I was like, did they even really vanquish anyone? I think they just need to work on the vanquishes moving forward. Let's see, what other things do we want to chat about? So by the end of this episode, the Charmed Ones have saved the day. Harry even wiped Julie and her boyfriend's mind so they don't remember what happened with Oman. But was anyone else kind of like, wait, they went viral online, so how does that work? Won't everyone remember what happened? The only thing I can think about is maybe in that situation, it only worked out because maybe no one got a really good look at them and figured out their identities, and maybe that's why they were able to, kind of wipe their minds and it won't make a big deal. And now the crew is just piecing together that the monster symbols and allergy are all connected. And I just really can't wait for them to figure out where all of this is coming from. And I'm just more invested now. This is what I've been waiting for. While there are a few awkward moments like the vanquishing and then the dancing with Julie, I think overall it seems like they're really working on taking the season to the next level. The soundtrack is fire. I love the soundtrack. The storylines just feel more solid. I loved that addition of really focusing on the innocent in this episode. And the designs and the magic looked really good. And I'm glad that we're back in the real world. I can't wait to see what happens next. Next episode, though, I know that they're bringing Abby back in, and I just hope that they can kind of fit her into this new direction, because I really like where this is going better than season 2. And I hope we don't kind of get sidetracked by irrelevant stories, and that we can really just focus on this new situation that we're in. So that is my thoughts. I will go back and answer and address a couple other comments and questions and thoughts over here. Adam says, I love Chase Wood in this episode. I love that there's a ship name for the friendship between Harry and Jordan. And I really think that Jordan has come a long way. I remember in the very beginning of season 2, I was not really a big fan of his. I feel like the minute they introduced him into that karaoke moment, I was like, okay, actually, maybe I like where this is going now, and I think he's really, just become a character that is fun to watch. And I like seeing their interactions, and I want to see, him come back into the story a little bit more. Jaylee says maybe they need some more notable demons, some that give them a run for their money before they defeat them, or maybe ones that take a couple episodes to vanquish. I agree. I think that would be really cool. I feel like right now they're doing a Demon of the Week where, it kind of feels like what they're doing in Nancy Drew, if anyone's watching Nancy Drew season 2, or even Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, the Eldritch Terrors, where they're just, each episode is a different Demon of the Week. But I think it would be nice to have something take a little bit more time, to have an episode where, maybe over the course of 2 or 3 episodes, we're fighting the same thing and we have to figure out how to stop it. I just think the more that we can really give more background into certain characters, even this demon Oman, I really loved how they brought in Julie and made her a focus. I think they could have done a little bit more with Oman, just to make him seem a little bit more formidable. But I'm hoping that's what we're going to continue to get as the season goes on. I think wiping their minds was less impactful. And could you imagine if Julie's boyfriend gets confronted by what happened and sees the video after getting his mind wiped, right? It'll be like, what happened? What? Shill says, I think I want Maggie to be head witch because she really takes charge. Yeah, I think Maggie has been really doing a lot in these last few episodes. And in this episode, I really did think that the sisters work together a lot. So I'm excited to see that the fact that they can't actually like touch, somehow they're still having like more sisterly bonding and connections that they did in like past seasons when that wasn't even an issue. Noel says, do you think that they should have a Cole persona or something like that? I think they did. I think it was Parker, I think that was Parker kind of taking on that type of role. Junta says, what about multiple monsters in an episode? I think that would be cool too. I don't know if I necessarily see them doing like a lot of monsters, just because I feel like they're still, I don't know if they're really like, how do I say this? I feel like I feel like that's very ambitious, and I'm not sure if we're there at that level yet where they can like give us multiple monsters that are like gonna have like a real big impact. But maybe we'll see that. Maybe that'll be something where like, oh my gosh, would be really cool? So far, these vanquishes have been kind of anticlimactic, right? So what if they're not really being vanquished and they're being kind of like placed somewhere where by the end they'll all come back? And the Charmed Ones will have to like defeat all of them at once. Wouldn't that be crazy? I don't know. That just came to me. Like maybe we think that they're vanquished, but why is it so easy? Maybe they're not. Maybe they're all kind of like coming together, and they'll be like, in Power Rangers when they have all the little pieces come together as like a big thing. Maybe it'll be like that. Megazord or whatever. Just theories. Linnell says, Jordan's curse is driving me crazy. It seems like every time he gets a lead, it turns out to be a bust. Yeah, this episode, they were kind of like, yeah, that book I got from Abby didn't really help me because, like, people, like, witches just don't want, like, a random guy coming up being like, I'm going to save you. And I think, like, honestly, that's kind of, like, realistic. So I think he's going to be struggling a little bit. But maybe the more he helps the Charmed Ones and Harry and stuff, he'll be able to, like, break the curse in that way. Or maybe they'll have, like, a big moment where Jordan will like finally break the curse, helping Maggie in some way. Darren says, I still want Macy to go get her firepower back from Abby. Like, thanks for holding that for me. Now I'm here to take it back. Yeah, that would be cool. I do miss Demon Macy. I do miss that a lot. I thought that was pretty cool. Gemini says, once they figure out the tablet, they can get rid of all the monsters and won't need a monster of the week. Yeah. I think it would be cool, right, if, like, all the monsters came back and we weren't really defeated. You thought you defeated us, but we didn't. We didn't defeat them. More Macy and Mel. Yeah, I also agree. I definitely noticed that we had a Macy and Mel scene together. That was really nice. What if the monsters were sent back from where they came? Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting if maybe, like, the monsters get sent back to where they came from, but then the Charmed Ones at the end end up in that place. And then they're, like, got to go against, like, this huge thing. Jaylee, trying to break Jordan's curse could have been the plot of last season with saving a witch every week to help him. Yeah, that would have been interesting. I feel like his way of breaking this curse is going to have to be, like, doing something really big to help Maggie, right? Like, that's what I'm thinking. Thomas says, I'm definitely digging the sister moments. Me too. That's my favorite. I love the sister moments. I love the different demon of the week, finding out about these different monsters and stuff. I love when we get to actually like meet a character that kind of comes in and that they're helping, like they did in this episode. Z Moch says, I still feel like the monsters want to be vanquished in order to bring forth something crazy. Yeah, that would be wild. That does bring me back to like Chilling Adventures of Sabrina too, right? Like you needed to go through all of these steps because this bigger thing was coming. Like that was like part of it, you know. I definitely think that they're unleashing something that they maybe don't fully understand because, you know, they're still trying to figure everything out. So that, I mean, that's always, I love that kind of storyline because it's like, oh, we think we're helping and actually we're making it worse. I don't know if anyone's ever read the Diviners series by Libba Bray, but something like that kind of happens in a story where they think that they're doing the right thing and it turns out they're actually making everything so much worse, and it's so cool. Junta says, I would love for them to utilize different mythologies. I agree. I thought this one was really cool that we actually got to kind of make a connection to real Greek mythology. And I think that, you know, that was something really fun that they did a lot in the original show as well, where like they brought in all these like real life kind of like myths and stories and connected it back. I'm going to start wrapping things up. So if anyone wants to throw any other comments, questions, concerns in there, otherwise, I'm going to start wrapping up, and then, you know, I'll just see you guys next week for the next episode of Charmed. But of course, I always have videos out, so I'll have videos out the rest of this week for other projects as well. Sean, what's up, Sean? Says season 3 so far is so great. It really is. I think I'm glad that they've like wrapped up the season 2 plot line, and I really feel like from season 4, this new season 3, like with episode 4 and episode 5, I feel like we're in a new direction. I feel like it feels like new, refreshed, and I'm really loving that. Yes, Sean, turn on your notifications. I'm trying to do Mondays at 6:30 p.m. EST for these live streams, unless anything comes up, but that's what I'm trying to do. Mrs. Sponge says, who do you think is after Abby in the next episode? I mean, my first thought is maybe it could be Parker. My next thought is maybe it could be related to her sister. Maybe another one of these demon mythological ancient creatures. I think it could be something like that. Maybe something like that. Those are some of my thoughts. Is Parker coming back? I don't know if Parker's coming back, but I feel like you never know. I mean, they have brought him on before, so you know, it would be interesting to see him make a comeback. Maybe for some reason, or, you know, like I said, could be her sister that we haven't met yet, or could just be one of these monsters that we're being introduced to. Or, yeah, good point, Taylor. Maybe it's related to whatever it was that she like inhaled, swallowed, breathed in. That, you know, we got to see that demon face. Maybe it's related to that. Or what if it's a trick? What if she's making it seem like she's being attacked by something, but it's really like a ploy. Jaylee says, aren't they supposed to be magical community leaders now that the elders are gone? Yeah, that is true. I would love to see, I mean, I loved how at the end of season 1, we got to see all of these different magical creatures like Chloe the fairy come back and be like, the charmed ones, like, thanks for saving everything. Like, let's all work together. Like, I kind of would want that to come back, you know? I think it would be really cool to have them introduce different magical beings that maybe like come back later on and help in different situations that they, you know, and kind of build that community, you know? Mrs. Sponge says maybe she set fire to her own bed. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, what if she's like pretending that like that demon is after her, but really it's the face that she has. So, yeah, this overall, guys, I really liked this episode. Adam, when Maggie is trying to help Julie and Mel, is like, stop, this is too scary. And I'm like, yes, let's let her die or whatever because it's scary. Yeah, that was some goofy dancing. Oh, wait, I didn't even realize, though. Thanks for letting me know. For those who also might not have known, we have to wait 2 weeks. The next episode of Charmed is March 14th, so there's no episode this week. Why? Is it the Grammys? It might be the Grammys. That could be why. A couple more comments about Abby, and then we will wrap up. At this point, I feel like Abby wants to be loved, but she keeps doing bad things. Yeah. And then Linnell says, I think Abby had a part of her stripped away. I'm guessing it was her mother weakening her demon side. If this is the case, what I want to know is why they would just give it back to her. Yeah. That is true. Maybe they're just like, we want nothing to do with Abby anymore. So just like, take your demon side back. Do you think Abby is the bad guy? You know, I think she's very misunderstood. I think she's misunderstood. I don't know if she's necessarily the bad guy, or maybe she'll like be one of those characters that like does the bad thing but for the right reason, or like for a reason that you sort of like understand. Gerard says, yes, it's because of the Grammys that this episode, that they're skipping a week, and this episode was phenomenal. It felt like Charmed to me. Yes, that's the whole thing. This episode really felt like Charmed, you know. The fact that we got to meet this new character, that they're helping, that we got to see this demon come into play, that, you know, everything kind of connected back, and, you know, it just felt like we really got to, like, dive into this episode versus, like, having some surface level storyline and not really getting a chance to, like, be in the mix of things. It felt like we're really in there, and that's what I want to see more of, basically. That's what I am waiting for, and I'm excited to see what happens next. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me on this live stream. I'm trying to do live streams every Monday at 6:30 p.m. EST to talk about the new episode of Charmed. Also, for anyone who might have missed it at the beginning, my Pop Culture Planet podcast is returning this Thursday, so Mondays and Thursdays, I will be live on my channel at 6:30 p.m. EST. And I just hope you guys will continue to come and join me. For anyone who's not subscribed yet, your subscription means the world to me. Your support, your engagement, your likes, your comments. I love to hear what you guys think, basically, you know. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I got lots more videos coming, Charmed related and not Charmed related, so please stick around. And I will see y'all in my next video. Bye!